The Russians in this country believe that their national pride is being violated by government plans to remove the war memorial to the Russian dead. The capital, Tallin, is going through the worst spate of violence and destruction seen in recent years. They beat people with clubs and cudgels, so if they try to strike me, I shall hit back. A youth died in the rioting last Friday. Estonia is deeply split. The Russian minority feels threatened. Why do the police beat up children? Because they are Russian. They think that Russians are Estonia's enemy. Around a quarter of Estonia's population is Russian. They came here to speed the Sovietization of the Baltic countries when they joined the Soviet Union, and they stayed on, even after Estonia achieved independence. The state of Estonia has tried to integrate these Russians, but integration came to an abortive end with these riots. This is a crucial stage for Estonia. For the Russians, the war memorial represents the liberation of Europe from the Nazis, but the Tallinn government wants to destroy it. We are protesting because no one has explained to us the reason behind the urgency to remove the statue. This situation cannot just calmly simmer down. It has to be said that even if the Tallinn government go ahead with their plans, the Russians are unlikely to forget their battle heroes, even without the bronze memorial. The Russians who liberated Estonia from the Nazis remained in Estonia until 1994. The liberators became the new occupiers. But now that Estonia is independent, the Russian army is pulling out. Estonia has joined NATO and the European Union in its own right. With the Russian tanks and cannons gone, only the men who came with them remain as reminders of the past. As the Russians were pulling out, Yuri Estam returned to his native land for the first time. He is Estonian. His parents fled the Soviets in 1944 as they felt restricted. They migrated to the USA. Yuri Estam was on KGB's blacklist.
From the point of view of interpretation of the past and history, for them to be in denial about the pain and trauma that the Soviet Empire caused to Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, I think this indicates at the very least insensitivity, let's put it that way. They are not aware of the suffering that they brought.
Yuri Estam is glad that the heroes of the occupation are in a museum today. They did not bring the country any good, and their time is now long past.
And I think it would be the attainment of my own personal maximum program, so to speak, would be for young Russians to simply not to be in denial. If they stop being in denial, and in fact, if someone on behalf of the Russian community would say, we sincerely regret the past and let's have a new future together, I think that would go a long way towards reconciling the two communities.
We are looking for young Russians in the Tallinn suburbs. Here, most people live in very poor conditions. The young Russian hip-hop dance company, Deluxe, has experienced the rioting and have no desire to get involved in the dispute over the memorial statue they nickname Aljosha. The young dancers want to integrate themselves into Estonian society, but they also understand that Russian feelings have been hurt. Everyone knows that Russians are emotional. If Estonians hurt something that is sacred to us Russians, then we will not simply sit and watch. For example, if someone urinates over my mother's grave, then I will want to cut his throat. That is it. tit for tat.
Если бы кто-то начал крошить могилу моей матери, да я бы зарезал сразу. Вот это просто то же самое.
Мария у нас, допустим, да, вот, ну,
Maya here next to me is the only Estonian in our dance troupe. She herself has noticed how upsetting we find these incidents. She baked us a cake the day after the unrest. We liked that. It pleased us very much.
всем сказала, что вам не было грустно, это было очень так, то есть, на самом деле, поддержку, то есть, вот.
Estonian youths feel bitter about the rioting Russians. During the unrest, they were involved in serious pub brawls with their Russian contemporaries.
Integration, that's bullshit. The politicians have told us like 10, 17 years about integration. That's bullshit. We have seen it now. Okay, I understand the statue was their like holy place, you know. I understand the Russians too, but I don't understand this riot thing. And especially what I'm mad about this, my home pub. That's why I'm mad.
A memorial has split the nation in two. Even among the younger generation, old Aljosha is still very current and topical. While the Russians accuse the Estonians of talking down the horror of the Nazi period, Estonians feel that their young nation is under threat from their Russian neighbours.
If Western Europe can help Russia reinvent itself in a new and democratic form, maybe these paradigms, these legends can be replaced with something better.
Every 9th of May, the Russians celebrate the liberation of Europe from the Nazis. In Tallin, the occasion is commemorated in front of this controversial memorial. In front of the Estonian embassy in Moscow, youth organisations deliver their opinion of Estonians. Nazis, Nazis. The issue is bound to lead to diplomatic conflict between Tallinn and Moscow. We are appalled at the way in which these demonstrations have risen to hysteria. All the demonstrators actually wanted to do was to protect a memorial of the liberation of the whole of Europe. After all this commotion and international tension, Aljosha has found a new home, in the war cemetery. Young Russians look on warily to see whether this is genuine. You have to understand this. We were abandoned back here. No money, work, or indeed roofs over our heads. Those were very hard times. Our uncle was killed during the war. Therefore, the memorial is very relevant to us. Our forefathers struggled for the freedom that we now enjoy. They fought against the fascists. This monument stands for that. Aljosha has now found its peace, and people now seem to be gradually reconciling themselves to its relocation.